Agut Voch Raboisai. I want to share a beautiful story that happened this past Tuesday when Hatzalah MDY family came together to help deliver a baby on the side of the highway in New Jersey. This recently joined Bergen Hatzalah. This is from Dan Rubinoff, the famous Dan Rubinoff. He still, to this very day, holds the record of being at the shiurim in the most cities. How do you say it? Most cities. He was in Israel, in Florida, in Chicago. Great, nice one. No, he's not a stalker. He's a great guy, Dan. Great guy. He got his boss. He helped to get his boss give $20,000-$30,000. Yeah, okay, whatever you want to call it. You'll have to. You're the editor. You can do whatever you want. Okay. The kids, what happened was they're running to this Hatzalah call. This woman is giving birth by herself in her car on the 17th. Eliezer Shafrin, Avram Holzer, Benjamin Shulov, an ambulance. Both Avram and Yamin, fellow MDY members. And I'm working on Eliezer to join. The kids are the racing, and when they get there, the baby's been delivered already. Why? I saw a malach holding the baby and wrapping the baby up with a sense of common purpose and came onto the ambulance. The malach was one and only Mark Ashkenazi. Mark, who responded to the call through Monsey Hatzalah, arrived a couple minutes before us. The baby was delivered. Kids, he does other stuff besides just MDY. After the baby was securely wrapped and was okay, I was told to strap in. The kids, the mother's loaded to the ambulance, taken, and everybody screamed to Dan, Kvater, Givaldik. Below is a picture of me bringing the baby into the hospital. Avram Holtz in the background. Second picture is a reunion the next night at the Tinik Monsey Siyum. Binyamin, BC 55, on left. Mark, RH 80, and myself, BC 305. It's real zchus to be part of a special moment, and especially Heligat, Solam MDY Mishpach. Mazel Tov on the Siyum and Ksubas. 11th Siyum I've done with MDY. Started the Psachim. And he's been to 11, I'm just going to stick this in. I have no idea. He's been to 11 different cities and 11 different shiurim. Wishing you safe travels from Africa and the UK. Your Talmud, Dan Rubinoff. Oh, Lamaisa, you're from the only ones that has been, actually Gary. Gary's been with me in Kenya, in a shiur, and in Baltimore. Where else? We did some, Eilat, thank you. He's been in Eilat. Here's Dan Rubinoff all the way on the right. And Mark Ashkenazi, and I forgot the other guy's name. You guys will know it. Okay. Srili Caller, I want to thank you for dedication to shiur. Been enjoying growing since Masechtas Megillah. Truly admire an energetic drive. Baruch Hashem, I had a baby boy last day, Yontif, and was zechus today to name after my father-in-law, Reb Zechariah Shimon HaKoyin Wallerstein. Zechat Tzadik Baruch. The bris is 6 months to the day he was nifter. 6 months to the day. And a true honor, that ruins my mice. I can't put it in my sefer 9 months to the day, but whatever, it's another. And a true honor for my son to be the first grandson carrying such a special namesake. Another special moment for me personally was to make a siyum on Ksubas at the bris, in my father-in-law's memory, something I wasn't initially planning for today, but worked out perfectly as we completed the Masech this morning. This is something I couldn't have done without MDY. Looking forward to raising my Zechariah Shimon in a home where we finish many more Masechtas together with the Kars HaToiv, Srili Caller, Brooklyn, New York, or zchus. Here he is, Srili with the first kid named after Reb Zechariah. Oh, Shalom Berkevich, Shalom Aleichem, here you are. There's a picture of him learning unposed on the plane. The Honorable Reb Eli. Nobody ever recalled. The Honorable Reb Eli. How inspiring I was learning today's daf, which is about Chashivas of Eretz Yisrael, while flying with the Lal from London to Eretz Yisrael. I'm looking forward to be at your shiur, Motzei Shabbos. Keep the front seat reserved, please. Yes, here it is. We have time for another one? I don't even remember when we started. It's Motzei Shabbos. It's short daf. It's Nedarim, please. Hi, my name is Shuli Pesach. I joined the shiur by Masechtas Megillah with the citywide Daf Yomi, New York City Shoimrim guys. So we have it's coming from all sides now. Coordinated by Shlomi Klein, CH19, and Mendy Greenblatt. Remember those days that every day we used to have these numbers? It's coming back. Mendy Greenblatt F43. Since I signed up plenty of friends, but I made a Kabbalah. Listen to this, Rabbi Isai. He made a Kabbalah. He made a neder to recruit at least one friend by each Masechta and each art school volume of the Masechta, no matter what. Each volume of the Masechta. I, Baruch Hashem, got at least one friend. Guess which one he wasn't Matzliach? Yevamis, the third volume. other than Masechet Zivam is 3. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome my newest recruit, Yidel Laufler from Borough Park. Shalom Aleichem Reb Yidel. By the way, WhatsApp status stopped working for signups. He used to do WhatsApp status. So listen to what he does. I'm telling you. So he's giving chizuk to everybody. So I continue by making phone calls to some close friends who might appreciate this opportunity. After 3 phone calls, I got Yidel to join. Also, huge shout out to my chavrusa who comes down to my house every day, Shimi Weiss, Staten Island, 41 Shomrim. As we watch this shit together, he comes to his house, he goes down the flight of stairs, it says here. Thanks for hopping along the journey with Masechtas Ksubis. Let's finish the rest. Shimi Weiss was part of our shir. That's a different Shimi Weiss. Thanks for everything. This shir changed my life after not opening Gemara for so many years. This shir changed his life. It's really Pesach Shomrim, Borough Park, 112, Staten Island, New York. All right, Rabbi Yisai, here we go. The Masechta, the Koilel, is sponsored Lili Nishmas Chaya Bas Yosef. The Masechta is sponsored by Ein Zgula Torah, Tomchia, Kիעקב ויעל. I read it wrong the other day. No, I'm just reading what it says. I don't approve of this message. The first sponsor of the Chodesh, zechariah ben Moshe. The second sponsor of the month, Jeff Rosner, zchus my son Yosef Simcha Chaim ben Chana, Refuah Shlaima. Amen. The third sponsor is Dr. Avrum Epstein, which I have a piece of news to tell the Olam, but I first have to have his permission. Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of my dear departed loved ones, included in my recent Yontav yizkors. I can tell the Olam? Oy simin toiv, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, simin toiv, Yehoshua. He's a chassid. Rabbi says he's a chassid. I'm not joking. He's a chassid. I simin toiv, Mazel Tov. Turn around. He wants something, Gary. Dr. Epstein, get over here. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you. We're in the middle of a shir here. Oy simin toiv, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, simin toiv, Yehoshua the Chol Yisrael We gotta learn Torah. We'll dance afterwards. Rabbi Isai, I read today a very, very interesting story in Reb Yitzchak Zilberstein's Sefer. It's a sad story, but it happens. There was a Hasidic couple who had a daughter who got married, and the Hasidic couple was very, very into the Rebbe helped them in all sorts of things. And when the couple had a baby, and it took them very, very long to have the baby, over 9 years, the Shviger demanded that the baby's name should be in the name of the Rebbe that they had. It only made sense. And she said, the daughter, the Kala, gets the first name. I want this baby. The Chassan gets up there, the son-in-law gets up, and the father of the baby, and he says, afterwards he explained, he said, look, my wife didn't have children for 9 years. I went to the kever of a different Rebbe, and I davened there, and I made a neder. I said, if I have a baby, I'm going to name the baby after the Rebbe, by the kever. And sure enough, and this story is going to be in my book 9 months later to the day. 9 months later to the day, they had a baby. To him, it was obvious that it was the tefillah, so he named the baby after his Rebbe. The mother-in-law was not happy about it. She was Madir Hana, her son-in-law, forever. She said, he can't come to my house. Mudir Hana, that's it. He can't have any...
What's wrong with that? Oh my gosh.
What's wrong with that? He says, our darshan, by the way, tomorrow night we're having a big siyum in big. and Benny is going to speak, and I hope his wife is not listening to tonight's shir because he's screaming out, halavai on me. And he says, Elvis, what's your Jewish name? We're dumping, what? Eliyah. No more Elvis. Mayim Vahala, no more Elvis. Elvis is next to, Elvis, well, you're going to bury him next to Telstone. He's over there in the gas station. Eliyah says, what's wrong with that? Okay, fine. What was wrong with that is that the daughter, not the son-in-law, he didn't care. The daughter couldn't, they couldn't go for Shabbos and they couldn't have them over. So Reb Eli Stefansky says it's a true story. So he says, of course, the father was right. They had no right to be Madar Ana. But what I found fascinating, and then he says, if they want, you can't just be Mevatel on Neder. You have to go to the Rav and see if there's any, like Rebbe Kiva and his father-in-law. But you see that these stories happen even in our days. But what I found fascinating is Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Reb Chaim Kanievsky told Reb Eli Stefansky about this story. He said that to make peace with the mother-in-law, he should change the name. After the kid already had his name, change it to the other Rebbe. It's not the end of the world. It's better. The isser of changing names or the problem of changing names is not as strong as the problem of having a Shalom Bayis problem. He didn't make a neder. So he said, listen, it's not a neder. They go into it. Listen, you don't know 100% because of the Rebbe, this, but it seems like it. Okay, fine. Just thought I would bring it out. Huh? Okay. The Shviger would not be happy. 2 names, 3 names.
By my grandfather, they had twins. So one was it for this Rebbe, one was it for that.
So Hashem saved them. Yeah. All right. So Rabbi said we had the Shiloh yesterday in the Gemara. The pasuk says Bal Ta'acher. There's an isser to delay a korban. How do you have Bal Ta'acher when it comes to Nazirus? No, Ishkoyach. The Parnas Hayoim, just one more. Chani and Eli Wiesel, in memory of Eli Wiesel's grandfather, Yehoshua ben Menachem Zev A. I got distracted because of the tremendous Simcha of Dr. Epstein. So, we're in the middle of a sugya. How is a person over on Bal Ta'acher to delay a Nazirus? When a person becomes a Nazir, he says he's a Nazir, he becomes a Nazir right away. And we had yesterday, one of the answers was that a person says, interesting thing, he says, I won't die before I become a Nazir. So he's not mechuyev to become a Nazir that second. He doesn't become a Nazir that second. But because a person doesn't know when he's going to pass away, so he better start right away. And if he doesn't start right away, he is over on the Isra about the Acher. In other words, it doesn't start automatically. He should start it immediately because he doesn't know when he's going to pass away. And he should get through the whole process. It's 30-day Nazirus. So we have another answer right over here. Rav Acher bar Yaakov Amar, Kigoin denodar v'hu bebeis hakfaros. So it says in the pasuk b'chiyamos meis olav. There's actually 3-4 psukim here. I skipped around. Even what I put in here wasn't small enough to fit the whole page. V'chiyamos meis olav v'gilach roishoy. He has to now shave. He has to start all over. If a person is a Nazir and he goes to the Beis HaKvaros, he has to start all over. He should bring 2 birds or 2 yainas, and one is a chatas, and one is keves ben shnasil asham. And let's say he became he went to the Beis HaKvaros on day 20. So all the 20 days that he was a Nazir, Yiplu, Kitam in Israel, he has to start all over. They fall away, starts again. So this guy starts his Nazirus in the Beis HaKvaros. You hear? He's not a Nazir yet. If he's a Nazir and he goes in the Beis HaKvaros, so he has to start all over. But he's not a Nazir. He wants to start his Nazirus. Could he start Nazirus in the Beis HaKvaros? So the Gemara understands right now that he's starting right now. And then what? He has to run outside immediately in order not to be over in Bal Ta'acher. He has to run outside and start up his Nazirus right then. He has to start the whole process becoming Tahar, because if he doesn't run outside, he'll be over on Bal Ta'acher. Says the Gemara, this is great according to the Manor that says, so When exactly? The Gemara is going to go and explain what the machlokes is. But according to the Manam, it says that the Nazirus doesn't start right away. Great. Run outside as soon as you can, because if you don't run outside, you are going to be over. According to Rish Lakish, you don't become a Nazir right away. And when you go outside, you have to be makabel again. You have to say, I am a Nazir again as you come outside. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, which you become a Nazir immediately. So then, according Rav Yaakov's whole pshat is only according to the Manda Omar that says that it's not chal. But if the Nazir starts up in the Beis HaKfaros, then how are you over on Bal Ta'achar? The Omar Mar Baravashi Chaylan Nazir Salim Alter. Mar Baravashi explains the machlokes that everybody agrees that the Nazir starts in the Beis HaKvaros. V'chi pligi le'inyan Malkus pligi. So I have Malkus. I remember to bring this, but I brought it for another reason. This is Malkus. Well, it's not really Malkus. The real way Malkus worked was there was a nice stick that was a tefach wide, and the end of it had something like this, like a bunch of these made out of hide from a donkey, a chveis, whatever. It was very painful. You could die from the actual stick. This, I don't know if it's very, very painful, but it's not deadly, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 39 of these, but 39 whips with this, okay? You get Malchus. So, the whole machlokes is, if you get Malchus, and it starts up. So what if a guy eats a grape? He's a Nazir. He eats a grape in the Beis HaKvaros. So according to Rish Lakish, he doesn't get Malchus. According to Rabbi Yochanan, he get Malchus. But of course, the Gemara says it starts up right away. If it starts up right away, then what's the nafkamina? Then you're over on Bal Ta'achar. You're not over on Bal Ta'achar. It started right away. Where do you have a case where he's delaying the Nazirus? It didn't delay. He became a Nazir immediately. Afilo achi v'chi pligi li'malchus pligi. Says the Gemara, Afilo achi komle bebal ta'acher. Why? Mishum de koma acher nazirus de tahara. Because, says the Gemara, a big chiddush here. Says the Gemara, he is a Nazir, but he's not a real full-fledged Nazir. His 30 days didn't start yet. Why? Because he's tamei. It only starts up when he goes to the mikvah and he does the whole process and brings the karbanos and everything else, and he shaves his head and the whole thing. Only that. So that he must do immediately. But now he's hanging out in the Beis HaKvaros. What are you doing over there? Get back home and start the process. So that's why you are over on Bal Ta'achar. Do not delay. Amar Avashi. By the way, we started this year. It's just a small nakuda, but I think it's very important. The other teretz was that he said he's going to become a Nazir right before, he's not going to leave this world before becoming a Nazir, and therefore, he never knows when that is, and he should start right now. It's just a little nikuda that we have to take for our lives as well. A lot of us have things we want to do. It's on our bucket list before we die. We want to do this, we want to do that. Now the shtusim, the safaris and that's, I'm not talking about. But if a guy says, I'm not going to die before I finish Shas, so the Gemara says you have to start right now. You don't know when you're going to die. It's the Gemara. A person says, I'm going to do X amount of chesed, I'm going to do. So don't push it to next year. You have to start right now. Nobody knows. That's the yisod. Nobody knows when they're going to go. Okay. I'll go upon it. We're here in this sugya now. We're ready weiter. Omer Avashi. Now you're telling me that if a person is tamei, he's standing in a Beis HaKvaros, but his Nazirus starts right now. Nazirus means he can't drink wine, he can't eat grapes, he can't eat grape seeds, he can't shear his hair, he can't take a haircut, he can't become tamei, but he's in the Beis HaKvaros. Nevertheless, he's over Isser by not leaving the Beis HaKvaros and becoming Tahar. Says Rav Ashi Givaldik. So if a guy was not in the Beis HaKvaros, he was a regular Nazir doing his thing, he made a shvuah, he made a Nazirus that he's not going to eat grapes and not drink wine, and then 2 weeks into it, he decided to go to a funeral, he decided to go to Levaya, and he touches the mace. Says Rav Ashi, you know what he's over on? He's over on something else. Over mishum bal ta'acher de nezirus tahara. He's over on an isser of delaying his nezirus. He should have finished his nezirus at once, and instead he went and he stopped it in the middle. So he's over in bal ta'acher. So I just want to point out, the Ran says, if you look at the parish of Nazirus in Pasuk Vav, it says, Kol yemei zir l'Hashem al nefesh meis lo yava. He's over Issa D'Oraisa of becoming a Tamei l'meis. In Pasuk Zayin it says, Lo yitam Elohem b'maisam. He's not living be metam with his own father and mother. So he's already over on 2 psukim, on 2 averis. Says the Ran, he's over on the 3rd one. For that I brought the whip. We could talk about it. We say, oh, he's over on 2 malchus, and 3 malchus. But now look at this. He's over 39. He gets 39 of these, and then they start all over again. 39. And then when they're done with that, the Gemara is Moisef, Bal Ta'acher, he's over another one. Another one, he gets another 39 of these. It's unreal. How crazy is this guy? He had to go to his father's funeral. He couldn't be Mavater. He went and he suffered the consequence. Okay? Yeah? So you have a question? No? Okay. So when it comes to a Nazir, check out this picture, which we had in Masechtas Yuma, Daf Zayin, from Kol HaLashon. Again, the guy that spent at least $500,000 on this particular sefer in Yuma. So here's a Nazir, picture of a Nazir that he did. It's beautiful. We used it. It was unbelievable. In the Beis Hamikdash, there's a place called Lishkas and Nazirim. It's a special room for a Nazir. And the Nazir, when they shaved his head, one of the things they did, they shaved his head, they took the hair, and they put it underneath the pot that had the meat of the shlamim. Because the Nazir has to bring 3 korbanos, so oila, chatas, and shlamim. The shlamim is in that pot in the back with the yellow arrow. And they took his hair, and they put it underneath in the fire. So if he doesn't go for his haircut, on that he's over on Bal Ta'acher. So now the Gemara is switching a little bit. Until now we were thinking that he's over on the Bal Ta'acher of starting up his Nazirus. Now we're at the tail end of Nazirus. Not day 1, day 30, where he goes to the Beis Hamikdash. He brought his karbanas, but he didn't take his haircut. On that he's over on Bal Ta'acher. Do not delay the haircut. Certainly, according to the Mandama that says that you must shave your head. According to the Mandama that says you should shave, but it's not ma'akev, you still become tar, you still finish the process of Nazirus, even without shaving your head. Mitzvahs giluach mil loy mekayim. The mitzvah of, what's this? The mitzvah of giluach, at that he wasn't, there's a mitzvah. You're right, it's not ma'akev. You're done with the Nazirus, but there's a mitzvah of shaving your head. And by delaying that, you're over on Bal Ta'acher, on that Mishnah, on that mitzvah. All right? Zog the Gemara. Oh, yeah. There's a Tiglachas talking about shaving. I said this joke already. We got to say it again for the new guys. There's a. It's not funny. It's emes. The guy is waiting for his wife to go to the wedding. Waiting. Finally, she says, "I'm really ready. Now I'm really ready." So he says, but I'm not ready. Now I have to reshave again. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Omar Zutra the Rav Mori. Omar. Marzutra Bereder Rav Mori. Omar. Marzutra, the son of Rav Mori, said, Oiver the Bal Ta'acher Korban Oisov. Bal Ta'acher Korban Oisov. Let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, so these are the korbanos, right? He has to bring a oil chatas and shlamim, and he doesn't bring it. So if he doesn't bring them, then he's over on Bal Ta'acher. Now, let me ask you a question. When is he over the Bal Ta'acher but not bringing korbanos? His Nazirus was over tonight. When is he mechuyev to bring the korbanos, Rabbi Yisai? Anybody? Tomorrow morning. Anybody else? Laibi, Koil guy, 3 regalim. 3 regalim, like that. That's how we started. The chiyuv of bringing, according to the Ran at least, the chiyuv of bringing the karbanas, he has 3 yom tovim. You can't expect a guy that lives I don't know where in Tzvat to run the next morning to the Yerushalayim. But he's oil regel, and we give him once, we give him twice, we give him three yom tovim. That's then he's over on Baal to Acher.
So that's just according to the Ran.
Yeah, I said this, but we're going to try to go like we do in every Masechta. We go usually with Rashi. This Masechta we're going with the Ran, and I have to tell you that it's unbelievable. If you have the chance to learn the Ran, you should try to learn Ran, because the Ran is different than Rashi in many, many ways. But one of the things is, he basically teaches you how to learn. He goes through the sugi, he tells you why this question is not a good question, why this question is a good question. The whole style of Gemara, he explains to you the style of the Gemara asks a bunch of questions. He says, don't worry about these questions. They're not good questions. We're just trying to get it out of the way, which it's a style of Gemara. He shows you what's important, what's not important. It's a very, very interesting. He goes through all the Rishonim, and he paskins halachas, very different than Rashi. The reason I said it on first essay, the reason why we're not learning Rashi is because it's really not Rashi. It might be called Rashi, but most agree that this is not the real Rashi. So instead of this, they're doing Ran. But also, what's interesting is that you have Taisvis over here on the side. You have Rosh, you have different Rishonim, Pirusha Rosh you have. Unlike other Masechtas, over here we have more Rishonim on the Daf than a regular Masechta. Okay. But we're going with the Ran. Yeah. So I can only go one Rishon. Most of the time you can have Machlekes Rishonim and most stuff. So just keep that in mind. Great. Says the Gemara. Umin hachan afka. You're telling me you chayiv on Baal Ta'acher from here. Mahasam nafkele. We have a hekesh. Remember, we had the hekesh between a nazir and a zerus and a neder. Says the Gemara. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. No, but I'm stuck still in the tiglachas, because once I said tiglachas and the shaving and the this, I figured I might as well say, I was thinking about it when I was learning, we have a guy who's a barber. We have a couple of barbers, but one guy went crazy out of his way to bring maybe 400 people to the shir. His name is Refuah the barber. Now, Refuah the barber is a single guy. I don't know how old he is. He's in his 40s, but he's a great guy. Mama's a great guy. I think we keep on talking about shiduchim, and people send in the resumes. Here we have a guy. We know him well. We know what he looks like. He's a barber, and he pushes the daf. We should push a shidduch for him. We should do one shidduch collectively. We should all put our minds together. He's a divorced guy, a great guy, good sense of humor, good personality. Let's find him a shidduch. Okay, huh? He lives in New York. Yeah. All right. Zog the Gemara. No. Umen hacha nafkele, mahasan nafkele, kidara shidushenu, elo chatois v'hashamois. So we have a pasuk over here. Maybe I don't have the pasuk. I thought I did, but what just happened? Okay, I don't have the pasuk. Akabon, the beginning of the pasuk it says, "Kisidur neder." Maybe it's somewhere else. I don't know what I did with it. Kisidur neder, kidara shidushenu elo chatois v'hashamois. So over here we have in the pasuk. Let's see if we can find on the side of the thing it says, "Kisidur neder Hashem lekecha lo yisa'achel l'shalmai." When you say you're going to bring a carbon to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, lo yisa'achel l'shalmai. Kidara shidushenu Hashem lekecha me'imach v'ebachachay. The beginning of the pasuk. Taisus over points out, the beginning of the pasuk is talking about that you, on your own, you decide you're going to bring a oila. So, loisach l'sham, you have a chiyuv not to delay. The rest of the pasuk is, even things like, if you're a nazir, you have to bring karbanos. So, you have a isser of Baal Ta'acher on a carbon, ki dereshi d'rushenu, the double lashon, elu chatois v'hashamas. So again, why do I need a special isser to say Baal Ta'acher? I have a pasuk that if a person doesn't bring his karbanas, he's over on this pasuk of Kisidur Neder Hashem Lekecha Lo Yisa'ach L'Shalom. You have to pay off the carbon right away. So the Gemara basically is going to go through and say it's a chiddush. The whole idea of, by the way, Shalom Aleichem, before you leave, Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? You go, but what's your name? Samet from Shalom Aleichem, Shai. The Kamianskis, okay. Okay, I want to say hello to you. I figured we're in the middle of learning. Okay. And there's a seat up here. Yeah. Says the Gemara. Now, I told you not to leave now. And the little kid, he brought his 5-year-old. No. Okay. So basically what the Gemara is going to do now is say that Nazir is a chiddush. And since it's a chiddush, there's a kula to it, so maybe you're not over and bal ta'achar on it. Unlike other karbanos, if you chayiv a carbon, you have to bring it right away. But Nazir, that's why I need a special limo to tell me that even in Nazir, which there's a chiddush and it's a kula. What is the chiddush? We're going to go through a couple steps here. My chiddush. It's a scary word, but it's very simple. Basically, I think everybody understands. If somebody owes a chatas, he has to bring a chatas. Why? Because he's Mechal Shabbos. Can I walk over and say, I want to bring just like that guy? I'm going to bring the same carbon as that guy. No, doesn't work. That's called, I can't be matpis. He could bring that carbon. Why? Because he's Mechal Shabbos. If I want to bring that carbon, I have to be Mechal Shabbos, unfortunately. But I can't say I want to bring a carbon like his. So the same thing with the Nazir. Everybody could understand that. This is Pasha. If a guy has very long hair, he didn't have a drink of wine for a month, and he brings a carbon, I can't look at him and say, oh, I want to bring that carbon to Hashem. I'm a chayiv myself. That's called a twas. It doesn't work. Says Gemara, I can't look at the Nazir's chatas. One of his korbanos is a chatas. I can't look at it and say, I want to bring that chatas. Stam. And that's why it's something special, and therefore he shouldn't be over and bal ta'achar. Harei chatas chaylev. And let's stop here for a second. The Ran explains, and it's very pashut. Chatas chaylev means chatas. Forget the word chaylev. Why is it called the chatas chaylev? Because the most common chatas that they used to bring in those days. Because if the butcher messed up a little bit and he left a little chaylev that's also to eat in the meat, you'd say, oh, you'd call him up the next day and say, listen, by the way, I hate to tell you, and I had to make a bunch of phone calls, but I left some chaylev in there. So people would bring chatais. You think the most common chatas is what? Chil Shabbos maybe? No. Chatas chaylev. So all chatais are called chatas chaylev. So anyways, harei chatas chaylev. In other words, a regular chatos, shei matvis v'neder. I can't look at the guy and say, I want to bring the same chatos. V'oivel batacher. You're over if you don't bring it in time for delaying it. So you see that not being able to be matvis, not being able to point at it and say, I want to bring it, has nothing to do with the Isra batacher. Okay, Ella, my chidushay. So what's the big chidush in Nazir? That I would say that you're not over on the Isra batacher, and that's why I need a special pasuk. So Nazir. Here's a Gevaldika case. What's a Nazir again? A Nazir is a person can't drink wine, can't eat grapes, can't eat grape seeds, can't become tameh, can't shave his head. I might be missing something, I don't know. So what if a guy says one of these 5 things? He says, I'm not going to eat grape seeds. That's it. I want to be a Nazir only for one thing, not to eat grape seeds. But I want to be able to drink wine or take haircuts. What's the halacha? He becomes a full-fledged Nazir. And what is that, a kula or chumrah? A big chumrah. He only wanted to become a Nazir for a little chartzon. And we're making him a full-fledged Nazir. I would think, since we're so machmer on him, what's the continuation? A little shver to understand, but that's what the Gemara is going to ask. I would think, since it's different. He only wanted to become a little bit of a Nazir. We make him be a full-fledged Nazir. So I would think that he doesn't have an Isser to delay. Kamashman, he doesn't have an Isser to delay. So the Gemara says, that's great, according to the Mandama that says that if I just say one grape seed, he becomes a full-fledged Nazir. But according to the Rishon says, no, a person doesn't become a full-fledged Nazir. So then, what's the chiddush? You're telling me that if a person just becomes a Nazir for seeds, he becomes a Nazir for all 5 things. So it's a very big chumrah. So if it's a very big chumrah, why would it make a kula? Why would it say, oh, he's so chumr, he said, I want to abstain from seeds. That makes him also to drink wine and to do everything else. And therefore what? Therefore he shouldn't be over bal ta'achar. The opposite. Therefore he should be over bal ta'achar. Doesn't flow. Okay, finally. The Soket Chamina. Sponsored by I don't have it written down. By Moshe Hirsch. Refuah Shlaima, Refuah Shlaima, Refuah Shlaima. And let me just say the first one. As a zchus to continue being able to support Torah and to finish Shas with Reb Eli. And as a zchus, Refuah Shlaima, Baruch ben Sarah, Refuah Shlaima, Itta Yudis Bas Mindel, Latzlochas ben Yom ben Itta Yehudis Ishkoyach. So what's the chiddush? The sukkah I'm in a hoil. Ve'im gilach alachas mishlashtan yotza. Look at this. He has 3 korbanos. You see, oila, chatas, and shlamim. What if he brought the oila and took a haircut? The halacha is he's yaitza. He doesn't have to bring all 3 korbanos and take the haircut. So I think, and that's a kula. That's something that we're lenient with him. We're saying he doesn't have to take a haircut and all. I would think he shouldn't be over on Baal Ta'achar because we're already making on him, and that's why Nazir is not in the regular puzzle of Baal Ta'achar. We have a special limud for a Nazir. Let's go back to the original teretz. That a Nazir has a special chiddush in it. That what? That if you point at a Nazir bringing a carbon, you say, I want to bring that same exact carbon, it doesn't work. So it's a special chiddush. But then you ask me a question. But a chatas also, you can't just point at a chatas and say, I want to bring that. Why does a person bring a chatas? To be mechaper himself. And therefore what? Therefore, let's stop here. A person brings a chatas, why? To give himself a kapara. And therefore he can't delay it. His neshama needs a kapara right now, not tomorrow. So don't delay it. Or 3 regalim. Chatas Nazir lemayasya. Chatas Nazir doesn't come for anything. It comes to allow you to drink wine. That's just reshus. I think I'm saying it over here in the right place. That's Iran. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no, so the Ran says over here that, what do you mean, Kapar? The some say, and this is a famous Gemara, we're going to learn it later on, Daf Yud, that a person is not allowed to say, I'm not going to drink wine for the rest, I'm not going to drink wine for 30 days. By him saying that, he's over Isser. Hashem gave you wine to enjoy and benefit. Don't start being a big tzaddik and saying, I'm a Nazir. Being a Nazir is Isser. So, he is Choyta, so he does have to bring a carbon. So the Ran says, yeah, even according to Man Omar, that he's sinning, he's over an Aveira by saying that he's a Nazir, that's not why you bring the carbon. The carbon is for other reasons. It's not that big of a Aveira that you chayav a carbon. Okay. Says Gemara, Varei chatos yuledes d'lo yaseh lekapara. A woman who gives birth, who brings karbanos, it's not coming for a kapara. V'over Allah mishum bal ta'acher. She is over in Baal Ta'acher. So you see, why are you telling me that a Nazir, he doesn't bring a carbon for kapara, and that's why it's a big chiddush, and it's telling us, and nevertheless he has to bring, he's over in Baal Ta'acher, not delaying. A woman also brings a carbon. She's not bringing a carbon for an Aveira, and nevertheless, she's over in Baal Ta'acher. Now everybody knows that a woman brings a carbon. One of the reasons they give is, why? Because when she gives birth, she swears that she's never going to give birth again. Yeah? I don't know if it's true that now in Israel there's no epidural, like a very big shortage of epidural. Is it true? There was. There's a lot of women swearing, and okay. But nevertheless, the Ran says that over here it doesn't apply. Once again, the same idea. That's one of the reasons, but that's not the real reason why she brings a carbon. V'haraya, the Ran brings a great raya. He says, what if a woman knows 100% she didn't swear? She knows. She didn't open her mouth. She's still chayiv a carbon. So it has nothing to do, says the Ran, with her swearing. It does have to do with her swearing, but that's not why you bring a carbon. Fine. By the way, Stam, I heard a Maisa Shkmataya. There's a guy that they told him, your wife had a baby girl. He's like, wow, Baruch Hashem. So some Sephardi guy comes over there and says, "Excuse me, I need to understand this. Why are you so excited? What's the big simcha?" So he says, "Listen, I don't want my kid to go through the terrible tsar I just had for the last 2 hours." It took 5 seconds. Okay. Woo. Well, nobody's going to get it. Okay, fine. Now there's a whole, for those who didn't get the joke, there's a whole debate. Who suffers more, the man or the woman? This man obviously held that he suffered more than his wife, and he didn't want his daughter, his son, to go through the same tsar that he went through. Okay, good. Now they got it. Okay, fine. Next. Wow. Tough crowd. Okay, Zok the Gemara. So, why does a woman bring a carbon? Ahi kosharyala lemechal bekachim. When, this is where the Ran says, okay, sorry, I jumped the gun. Let me explain this and I'll say what the Ran says, what I said before. Ahi kosharyala lemechal bekachim. When a woman brings this carbon, you see it says in the pasuk over here, v'chiper oleh hakoyin v'tahara. She gets a kapara, she becomes tar, but it allows her to eat what? Carbon Pesach. She has a chiyuv to eat carbon Pesach. So memela, that's why she brings a carbon. But this Nazir guy, it doesn't do anything for him. So memela, there shouldn't be any bal ta'acher. She has to bring the carbon right away because she needs to start eating kachim and especially carbon Pesach. But he has no reason to bring a carbon, I would think. He is over and bal ta'acher, do not delay. It allows him to drink wine. On that, the Ran says, drinking wine is not a mitzvah. He could drink wine, shkoyach. Over here, she's being mekayim a mitzvah of carbon Pesach. Omar Mar. Uman Nedarim. Just like, nobody laughed, but you laughed like crazy. What's pshat? Because you're on that side. You're on that side.
You had to be there.
Something about your mishpacha, you telling your wife that, okay, fine. I get. We have a gzerishava, we have a hekesh in the pasuk. That just like Nedarim, a father annuls his daughter's.
You came up with a joke.
I'm not, so it's fine. I'm not putting anything on you. I want to know if you're just trying to make me feel good because nobody else laughed, or you actually thought it was funny. You're not that sad. Okay.
Last time you said it.
Huh?
Last time you said it about me, I didn't laugh.
Okay. So just like we learn from Nedarim to Nazirus. Just like by Nedarim, a husband and a father have the right to be made for the daughters Nedarim and the wives Nedarim, so too Nazirus. The father could tell, when it's in the pasuk, a daughter could become a Nazira. The father could say, "No, you're not," and the husband could say, "No, you're not." Hekesh is very strong. A memetzinu is a lighter kind of limud. It's a memetzinu. Just like we find by Nedarim, the father could do it, so too by Nazirus. Why do we need a full-fledged hekesh? Says the Gemara, Dilma gabi Nedarim mudemever mishum deloi islay kitzutza. Kitzutza means there's a time limit. A Nazirus goes for 30 days, unless he specifies otherwise. So I would think that a father shouldn't annul his daughter's Nazirus. He's not allowed to. And a husband shouldn't. Why? Because it's going to be over soon. So just wait patiently. I saw a beautiful lashon here in the Ran. The Ran says that by a regular neder, since it's forever, then his wife is going to be b'tzar forever. She obviously b'tzar be'beisoy oilamis, he says. Who wants a wife that's in tsar all day long? Forever. She can never eat chocolate. He's always going to hear about it every single day of his life. So that's why he has the right to annul it. But if it's only a 30-day thing, okay, so suffer for 30 days. She can't drink wine. No. 30 days. The Ran just once we're smaller dapim, so I could say more of the Ran. The Ran says, why did the Gemara ask this question earlier? Remember the other day, I don't remember what, first day, second day of Nedarim? The Gemara says, we learned from Nedarim to Nazirus, from Nazirus to Nedarim, that we learned the idea of Yad, the idea of a semi-sentence, a half a sentence also works by a neder. So why did the Gemara ask over there? Why do I need a special hekesh between a neder and a nazir? Nedarim and just learn a memetzinu. Just like a yad works by nazirus, it works by nedarim. So the Ran says, beautiful. Because what happens when you break a neder? You get malchus. In Oinish Manadin, you can't just give somebody malchus based on a hekesh. If it's on a memetzinu. If it's a hekesh, it's a pasuk, then I could give the guy malchus. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Okay, fine. This is like Yitzutza. This is a time limit. This time is Shleishim Yom. Hey Maloi, Kamashma Lon. So we learn from here. That's why I need a special pasuk that's why I have a hekesh and not a metzina. But at the end of the day, how come we don't use a hekesh that every neder lasts for 30 days? Again, a kasha from the Ran. If I'm learning from a nazir is 30 days, so every neder in the world should last for 30 days. There's a hekesh. Stam neder 30 days. So Ran says no. Because don't forget, yes, our whole Masechta, I started the first day explaining this whole Masechta is Nedarim that a person makes himself Aser. Nidre Isser. But there's a whole other category called Nidre Hegdish. And that's in Kachim. And those can last for 30 days. You can't say, oh, this animal should be an Oila, and then after 30 days it's not going to be an Oila. So since it doesn't apply at all to Korbanos, so it can't apply to anything else either. So over here, I just want to tell you one of my favorite stories about Baruch Mordechai Ezrachi. He said this a number of times, you got to say it again for the sugya. So a guy asked him a question. So he looks at the guy and he says, Za'afilu lo shtuyot. What you're asking is not even stupidity. It's not even stupidity. A few minutes go by, a guy asks him a kasha. He goes, oh, ze shtuyot. That's stupidity. But yours is not even stupidity. So we have in our sugya now, we're going to talk about yodais. The handle of a pot is like the pot. So we had in the Mishnah, a guy says a yad. It's such an obvious yad. He's saying everything that says, I will not benefit from you. The only thing he's missing is the words in the Torah. He didn't say the word osir, but he said everything. You don't need the word osir. Or he didn't say the word carbon. What is that called? That's yadayim shemechichos. It's a yad meichich. It's so obvious. And what does the Mishnah say about that? It's 100% a neder. Now you have something that's not even shtuyot. It's like nothing. He says a word here. So I don't know if it's 100% accurate what I'm writing here, but just take it as an idea. Ein yad is red. It's nothing. Zero. He goes, hareini. Hareini. What's hareini? Hareini what? Hareini Gadol Adar, Hareini Nazir, Hareini Shaita. What's Hareini? So it's so stupid. It's so out of it. We're not even discussing it. It's not even on the chart. The green is the Mishnah, which we're also not going to be discussing, because the Mishnah says that if a person doesn't say the word Asr, or doesn't say the word carbon, but he says everything else, like, what's this chart? No. It's very obvious. He said, I am mudar from you, I'm not going to eat from you. So, do I need to be a genius to understand what he's saying? He's saying, I'm not eating your stuff. Great. The thing that we're going to be discussing tonight is Yad She'eni Mechiach, which I wasn't sure exactly what to put in there because I'm throwing in something at the end of the sugya. The guy says the words Mudrani Mimcha, but he doesn't say Shani Oichelecha. He doesn't explain anything. He says Mudrani Mimcha. What does that mean? I won't talk to you. I'm not going to eat your food. You're not going to eat my food. What is he saying? So that's Eini Mechiach. Yad She'eni Mechiach. That's what we're talking about right now. Okay. Zog the Gemara, Oimel Chaver Mudrani, Omar Shmuel, Bekulon, Ad Sheyomer Shani Oichel Lecha. Shani toyim lecha. So here again, I show this chart. The first day, the second day, today also. Why not? He says one of these three lashonos. He must add shani oichel lecha. He has to add. Oh, that should have been in another color. It's not fair that it's green and green. Okay, fine. Next time. Next 7.5 years from now. What? It would be nice because it doesn't. If the two things are green, so it's as if the shani oichel lecha is going on the green one on the bottom. It goes for all three.
Yellow.
We could do like this. We could do standing up colors. Standing up might work better. Okay, fine. You get the idea. The idea says Shmuel, they go together. He explains the Mishnah. So even if we learn, let's just read the Mishnah for a second. You don't have to. I'll read it for you. It says like this. In the middle of the Mishnah. We're talking about Yad, the Mishnah switches gears. He tells his friend, without Shmuel, and just says Shani oichel lecha. I would think it's four things. Personally, I would read it as four different things. Shani toyim lecha aser. The Mishnah puts the word aser all the way after the 5 sentences. Says Shmuel, no, you didn't read it well. It's mudranim lecha shani oichel lecha, mufreshanim lecha shani oichel lecha, mufrekanim lecha shani oichel lecha, or mufrekanim lecha shani toyim lecha. That's how it goes. Okay. What if you just say the green square? Shani oichel lecha. A guy shows up and says Shani oichel lecha. Believe it or not, l'kula alma, it's a perfect neder. Shani oichel lecha. He looks at his friend, Shani oichel lecha. That means I'm not going to eat from you. It's a yad shemeichiach. It's awesome. You can't eat from him. But if he says mudrani mimcha, he must add shani oichel lecha. Okay. Says Shmuel, Lama Shmuel, b'kul anan sheyomer shani oichel lecha, shani toyim lecha, meisvei, asking more kasha, mudrani mimcha. It says in the Brisa, mudrani mimcha, mufreshani mimcha, murchakani mimcha, harei aser. Stop. The Brisa says the word aser. Here, I put it over here if you want to see. After these 3 things, it says aser. And after that one line, it says aser. In other words, you don't have to add the green box, which Yosef is going to change to what color? Purple. Purple. You can change it to purple. The purple box doesn't have to go with the blue, red, and green. It's on its own. In other words, it's a perfect nether by saying mudrani mimcha. Okay. That's a kash on Shmuel. Harei asa. Shani oichel lecha, shani toyim lecha, harei asa. Says the Gemara, what it meant to say is, it's if he says shani oichel lecha, he adds those words, shani toyim lecha, then it's a neder. Oh, but I have another brisa, not over there. Another brisa that says shani oichel lecha, shani toyim lecha asa. It starts the opposite. Maybe I should have made a chart where the purple box is on the right, and those guys are on the left. Oh, Yosef, you're going to be up till 5 in the morning. I'm so excited. I'm kidding. Oh, that's right. By yourself? What time are you flying? Okay. By the way, seriously, we're changing the clocks tonight, right? What does that mean? Tonight we're changing the clock. What? It means there's another hour to learn Torah. It's not another hour to sleep because the Olam slept enough the Shabbos. I'm assuming after last night's meal, the most of you guys did a bagel, and the whole thing. Fine. There's more, huh? More emails. No. Okay. Akaparim, Yosef, you shouldn't complain. You have plenty of time tonight. Harei awesome. No, I'm just saying if you could, you know what? I'll do it. You just throw it in there. I'll try to remember. It's very, very simple. To take those 3 boxes, put them on the left, and that box on the right. That's what it says in this brisa. I'll also do the purple for you. We'll just have to do it quickly. What's that? Zez the Gemara. It says the opposite. It says the word aser between each and every one, and it seems like the shani oichel lecha is not a t'nai on the first string. It's its own thing, yeah? Shani oichel lecha is by itself, in the beginning of the brisa. Says the Gemara, Tani Achi. Ukfar Omar Mudrani. Okay, so you have to say, it's a shtickle doichak, you have to say, Ukfar Omar Mudrani. Shani Oichel Lecha is not before Mudrani. He already said Mudrani, that's why he added Shani Oichel Lecha. Huh? Yeah. Again, the Brisa starts off saying Shani Oichel Lecha Asur. And then it says Mudrani Lecha is Asur. So it seems like Shani Oichel is not part of Mudrani. So the Gemara says no. He said Shemudrani Lecha Kfar Omar, and he said Shani Oichel afterwards. He already said Mudrani, and Shani Oichel is afterwards. Says the Gemara, Ihachi Hainu Reisha. What does Hainu Reisha mean? If so, it's the same as the first Brisa, not the Reisha. There's no Reisha in Seifa, the Ran explains. It's the first Brisa. But the Ran goes a little bit deeper over here, and he says that if Mudrani was by itself, and Mudrani by itself is Asur, then maybe he purposely put Mudrani Mcha before Shani Oichel Lecha to tell you that's by itself, and by itself is Asur. If Mudrani Mcha, if Mudrani Mcha was not Asur, then you could just say it as the other Brisa. B'kitzur, okay. L'maisa, the Gemara says Yachai and Reisha. What do you gain by the second Brisa? Okay, I like what the Ran is explaining, just because there's different Brises, different things. There's a lot of different Brises, but he's forcing it into the lashon of the Brisa. V'oid Asur lama le'lemisnei. If it's a continuation, it's Mudrani Mucha Shani Oichel Lecha. It's one sentence. Then why does the Brisa say the word Asur in the middle of the sentence? It should just be at the end of the sentence. Why does it say Asur twice? Elo Amar Shmuel, time Edo Amar Shani Oichel Lecha. So now Shmuel says a whole new pshat. Time Edo Amar Shani Oichel Lecha. Shani Toyim Lecha. Hu da Asur v'chaveri muter. Oh, you hear what's going on here? How do I make that everything that I own is Asur to you, and everything that you own is Asur to me? It's when a person says, and with this we're going to finish, when a person says, Shani Oichel Lecha, Shani Toyim Lecha, if a person just says those words, Mudrani Imcha, Shneyen Asurim, in our Mishnah, the reason why it's only the guy talking, he's Asur to benefit from the other guy, is because he said, Mudrani Imcha, Shani Oichel Lecha. But if a guy just says, Mudrani Imach by itself, they both become Asur. Why? Because the word himach, what does it mean? Mudrani himach. I become Asur on you? This is again a Ran. He explains beautifully. How could I become Asur on you? What are you? So it doesn't mean you, it means your belongings. And therefore it would flip. My belongings also become Asur to you. That's because he said the word Mudrani Mimcha. So I have to explain what he meant, and once I explain what he meant, it goes both ways. But if a person says, Shani Oichel Lecha, he's specifying, the only thing I'm answering here is me eating your stuff. But you, on my stuff, is not Asur. And that's the pshat in the Mishnah. So Shmuel says like this. Again, Shmuel says, in our Mishnah, we're talking about the guy only answers your stuff on himself. Why? Because he said, Mudrani Mecha, Shani Oichel Lecha. He says both sentences. However, you're right, says the Gemara. If he would just say one sentence, Mudrani Mecha, then the halacha would change. The halacha would be that I'm Asur to you and you're Asur to me. Have a wonderful week. Shalom Aleichem to all the guests.